Tape Deck Media.
My friend Dan, he's got a podcast, cause all comics need a podcast, and nobody had a podcast called The Art of Bombing. So Dan went out and bought a tape deck. Who knows why he bought a tape deck? Podcasts don't get played on tape decks, but Dan is from the 80s. So hey there, all you funny jerks, come talk to Dan about your work. Tell him all about your worst times. It's The Art of Bombing.
Welcome to the Art of Bombing presents Between Bombs Callbacks, where Larry and myself call back the most recent episode. And in this episode, we are calling back episode 312 with Jim Tews. And it was a great conversation. What are your first thoughts, Larry, on my conversation with Jim?
I really enjoyed it. It was a great look. I'm not gonna lie, Dan. I don't always enjoy them. I've got to listen.
I love the transparency. I'm gonna be honest, Dan. I don't always like them.
I don't always like it. No, this was actually you've had a really good string of great interviews, and Jim
now
was...
if people who have been on the podcast that may be listening, they're probably wondering, am I the one?
I'm gonna say it was before I started producing.
Oh, okay. We got better when he started producing.
I'm just being full. I'm being full of it. I'm not as spicy as I was last week, guys. I'm just poking.
This week you're being a silly goose.
I'm just being a silly goose. I'm wearing a Wham. I'm wearing a Wham t-shirt. How could I not be? I've got a Wham t-shirt that I pulled the sleeves off of. I am.
Looking very sexy over here.
Thanks.
Shirt.
It's my workout shirt.
Nice.
Yeah. I just like to send a message, which is mixed message. With this. Anyway,
I like sending a mixed message.
I like sending a mixed message. I've got my heavy bag out in the garden area now, where I can work out outside, but I'm wearing a Wham t-shirt and pink shorts. And so it's really, I
don't know why that visual is just hilarious to me.
They're board shorts, it's not like they're hot pants, but they are.
I thought maybe you were wearing short shorts, running, like the old running shorts.
I have some of those, and I'm not. Look, I got to be the neighborhood alpha dad, but I want him to also understand that I'm inclusive. That's what I want.
Well, that's good. We appreciate that. This is an inclusive podcast.
That's right.
I actually just bought some gym shorts yesterday, and they're too big. I have to take them back and get a smaller size.
Congratulations, buddy.
I'm shrinking. Yes.
I noticed that t-shirt was getting pretty big on you, so
I know. I'm shrinking.
Looking good, bud.
That's the worst part about getting healthier and losing weight is you have to buy new clothes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start a GoFundMe to replace my wardrobe.
So guys, if you would please subscribe to the Patreon so that Dan can buy some clothes that fit.
Yeah, right.
No, I empathized with some of Jim's stories so much. Like him talking about doing the college shows.
Mm-hmm.
I got talked in. I won't get into it. I would love to do an episode about this with you, Dan. But I got talked into doing an after prom, and I was like,
"Oh my God, we could talk so much about that," because I did the same thing. Ooh,
I was like, why am I agreeing to this? And my buddy Trey Eilers, he just was like, because it pays well, and you're gonna get a story. And I was like, "Yep, I'm in. All right, that's it." And it was essentially like with Jim. It was like, all right, well, we got the comedians over here, but the nacho bar is open. And I know with Jim, it was like we got pizza in the back, and everyone just gets up and goes. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. You should go get food, children. I just kept looking at the adults in the room, going, who thought this was a good plan? Who thought your kids would want to talk to us?
Right. or watch us. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna do an episode on that for sure.
yeah.
Because yeah, I haven't done a lot of colleges. I've done a few, but even with like colleges, I'm like, I am not the demographic. Like
No,
well, because also I never really went to college, like traditional college. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like I went to college in my late or in my early 40s, and I just graduated.
yeah.
Um, like in 2021, I think, and then 2020 and 2021 is when I got my degrees or whatever. But so I didn't, oh yeah, my degrees are right in front of me. Yeah. So 2020 and 2021, they're right there. I
Perfect.
was right. I went to college. I'm smart. But I didn't go, I went online. So like I didn't have that traditional experience. So it's not,
You obviously went to
it's
Trump University. Um,
exactly. Can't you tell? Look at me. Look at
ye-
both of us. We both look like we were at the
yeah.
insurrection.
I look like I went to Trump University but majored in phys ed. Anyway, I was
Oh
expecting
my
even a
God, that's so funny.
I expected a response from Nicole. She's over on the couch, but nothing.
Did not listen. She tuned you out.
Okay, she nodded and smiled. Okay, there it is.
Oh man, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Okay, so let's get into the topics this week because there's
Yeah, there's
some
some good stuff that we haven't covered.
we because like last week I know we were talking about before we even started recording, we pointed out talking about finding the persona. You got to find your
Yep.
persona. And Jim mentioned when he went to from the market he was in and thinking, I'm killing it, I'm doing great, and now it's time to move on to the bigger market, and you think that you are unique, and you walk in and realize there are 10 others that
Mm-hmm.
are just like, so you think, oh, I think I found my voice, and then you walk in and you hear people that sound exactly like you, and they're all wearing the same flannel shirt, and
Or
if
hoodie.
oh my God, dude, the amount of hoodies, the amount.
I know.
Look, look. Occasionally, I wear a crew neck sweatshirt. I got a couple that were a buddy of mine when he owned his custom t-shirt shop.
Did
And
they make crew sweatshirts that fit you? I mean, it's big as you, and I don't mean that in like I'm
no,
not calling him fat, but if you look at his shoulders right now, he doesn't look like he could fit into a crew neck.
it's gotta be a zip up, and even then, it's the jaws of life to get him up. Um,
And
but
like Larry, a big boy, like muscle, like he got big broad shoulders and arms.
they make them big.
It's like a skinny shirt.
The, the Coleman Tent Company started making sweatshirts, and so I can fit.
He just wears a tent.
I call it a sweatshirt. Um, but yeah, it's that he was like, walking in and just seeing a dozen other dudes that are just like you,
Yep.
and being like, oh man, I thought I was killing it, but now I got to work harder. And it's that it's, I mean, that's what it boils down to too, is like being willing to work, put in the hard work. Because I saw something the other day where it was like, does talent outweigh hustle? And it was like somebody pointed out, hustle with no talent will get further than talent with no hustle.
Mm-hmm. Did
Um,
you feel like you experienced that at all when you moved to Chicago? Because you
yeah,
came
for
from a
sure.
smaller market and you moved in, up to
Um,
Chicago.
well, and that's the thing. I've not, I will say I've seen a lot of people that are very similar. I myself stick because being older, there's not a lot of beardy guys left. It's mostly for Matt Rife ruined comedy because he
Because
he
all the
made
good people are trying to do it now, are good
all
looking
these
people.
yeah, all the pretty people think that they should go up and try to be funny. You shouldn't. Leave it to us. Leave it to us, bridge dwellers. Let those of us that have
Leave it to the trolls.
they let us just have this. I mean, there's like my buddy Kevin. He and I look very similar, but we're also similar in age.
Hmm.
Um, we both shave our heads. We both have the beard. It just he and I even kind of have a similar sounding voice, and so it. But what sets us apart is our material. We're very
Yeah,
different, and our
different and
both of us tell stories, but it's just very disparate um, styles, even.
hmm
Um, and but like being on the showcases like at Lincoln Lodge and Zanies and such now, I am I am different enough. Whereas probably 10 years ago, there would have been 8 guys just like me
hmm
because it was everyone 10, 15, well, yeah, 10, 15 years ago, everyone was doing their best impression of Kyle Kinane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's funny because I've been called like a Dollar General version of of Kyle Kinane, which I mean, I don't see that as an insult.
no,
But one thing I know, like I guess for me, I guess I didn't notice, but I was still pretty new to comedy, so I didn't really know what I was trying to do. But one thing, when I moved to San Diego, I didn't necessarily notice everybody sounding the same and being just like me. I mean, I'm sure there was, but I was still so new, I didn't really comprehend. But I will say, I immediately was like, oh my God, there's so many people that are good. Like, I had this where I thought I was good. I was like, oh man, I'm so good at comedy. I'm ready for the big time. I'm going to move to California.
uh-huh.
Ended up, I was gonna move to LA, didn't get to LA. I ended up in San Diego, but I went to like one open mic and I saw the amount of the talent. And I was like, oh my God, I suck. I do have
Yep.
to work harder.
Oh, that's the thing. I will say some of the thing, seeing some of the people up here, will watch, like I'll just go watch a show and be like, "Oh my God, I gotta put kick it into gear because that kid's gonna eat my lunch."
Well, and especially in Chicago, like
Yeah.
Chicago is notoriously known for being a comedy city. Like, I mean, that's where Second City is. You've got what is it? IO West is that, or IO Comedy Theater? I guess I don't know if it's
Hmm.
called IO West. I think IO West is the one in California or the one that was in California. But you have all these great sketch, improv, and comedy theaters out there. And that, a lot of people go to Chicago for that purpose. So, well, not to mention, and theater. It's known for theater
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
So,
I will tell you, just as a point of pride for Chicago, um, gosh, I hope this doesn't burn me in any way, shape, or form. But it's the female and female presenting comics that right now are owning this scene. The dudes are all there's a lot of dudes that are trying to be, kill Tony like
oh yeah,
and there's a lot of dudes that are, they're funny. They're funny. There's some really nice really good funny showrunners out there, but it is like I said, the women and the female presenting folks that are just killers. They're just
that's great. I mean, I don't.
killers, and I
That's good
love
to hear.
seeing it. I
That's
love seeing
awesome.
it. Um, yeah. There's no good transition into this next one. Let's just talk about this.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, getting embarrassed as a comedian.
The level of what I loved, and I tried to write the quote down as quick as I could. So, but the level of embarrassment that comedians have suffered would destroy most normal people.
True
Oh my!
story.
And
Between
when
embarrassment and rejection.
yeah, yes,
I
it-
tell you what though, all the rejection you get in comedy definitely helps you in other aspects of your life. I don't know. I mean, I know you've been as long as I've known you, you've been married, but
Yeah.
as a person who is single and even in the past, I'd been single other times while doing comedy, but because of the amount of rejection I've endured in comedy, it has no rejection in dating has no effect on me.
Yeah.
Or jobs or any other thing. Like if I get rejected for something, I'm just like, whatever. I move on. I mean, it stings a little, sometimes, but it's like,
Sure.
whatever. All part of life. You got
Yeah.
you got that thick skin that's created, my armor.
Yeah. Well, like,
You can't break my heart. It doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist. It's already been
It's
pulled out of
already
my
been ripped
chest.
out.
These 14 comedy festivals have already
Yeah,
ripped my heart out and
it's
thrown
just
it
a
on the ground.
deep, dark, black hole of nothing. Cold nothing.
Well, Dan's not doing good, everybody. If you could subscribe to the Patreon and somehow do it in hugs, I think
Yeah.
Dan could use one. Instead of $4 a month, it's two hugs,
Oh,
two
that's
hugs
funny. Two
a
hugs.
week.
Join the two hug club.
The two hug club. When you see Dan, just shush, shush, shush. Come here, buddy. Shush, shush, shush. Everything's gonna be okay.
What's the most embarrassing thing that you've suffered in comedy?
Oh, dude. I didn't, but I nearly literally shat myself on stage.
Oh no, that would have been pretty embarrassing.
I had so I was headlining a show that night. My Airbnb was right across the street from I didn't know what it was, but it was a kombucha bar. Um, I went over, had lunch, talked to the bartender, and he was like, "Yeah, we make our own kombucha, but we also make kombucha cocktails, and we make kombucha beer, and we do this." And I was like, "Awesome. I have plenty of time. I can," because I was going to go for a long walk, and then I was going to take a nap and get cleaned up, and then go do the show, and I was going to actually have meeting a friend for dinner, and then go to the show. So I had all this kombucha. I then did all the things I just said I was going to do. For dinner, I had a nice quesadilla, nice Mexican meal.
This
Um,
sounds everything sounds bad about these decisions.
and then went to the venue, and what they were serving up for free for the comics to drink was Tall Boys Pabst. And I was washing down. I was just having a good old time. I would have been fine. There was technical difficulties that delayed the show by like 45 minutes. So I'm kind of thankful now, because I went on stage and get my time. I was supposed to do an hour. They were like, "Hey, they've got a band coming in. Can you cut it down? You'll pay the same, just 30 minutes. Just do 30." And I'm like, "Totally." At 29 and a half minutes, I was shaking so hard and sweating because I was clenching.
Oh
Because
no.
I felt about the 15-minute mark, I felt my guts go, and that drop onto the bottom floor, and I was like, "Oh no, oh no, and and I was gripping the stool. And I was normally during my closer, I do these act outs that are really, and it worked really well. And I was just gripping the stool, handshaking, dripping with sweat.
Oh my god.
And the producer was also hosting. He was a buddy of mine, and he was watching. He's like, was everything okay? Nervous or something?" And I finished it. I was like, "I'm gonna get you up here, Oliver." And he runs up, and I was like, "I'm gonna my pants." And he was like, "Oh my God." And then he gets on the microphone and goes, "Everyone get out of the way. The man's got to poop." And that's, but here's what's great. The whole crowd, like half the crowd is standing. It was packed room. People want to hang out and high five, but they parted like the Red Sea so I could run and ruin that bathroom. And then I came out, and the bartender, she looks at me and she goes, "It's okay, honey." happens to all of us. Let me ask, did you go to the kombucha bar? And I was
Oh,
like,
that's funny.
yeah, yeah, I did. Why is that? And she's like, do you know what kombucha does? And I was like, I don't. I have no idea what kombucha does. And so yeah, that's it, hmm, it was a rough night. It was a rough night.
Sounds like it.
I
I
I
was
t
I've never had anything quite like that. Knock on wood that it doesn't. I was gonna say I think I had probably my most embarrassing thing was like maybe 3 or 4 months after I started comedy. I was headlining a show. Like we did like an open mic, and then I was gonna close out the show. And I got so drunk I forgot my set, and I left the stage, went and got my notebook, and came back. That was one thing. But that was like early on, way before I knew what professionalism or anything about comedy was. And
yeah.
then another time, with not nearly as embarrassing as you, but I I went to
No,
take it,
not
open
nearly
my
as
water.
terrible. Jeez,
I
Larry.
went to take open my water and take a drink, and I missed my mouth completely. Just dumped it on myself. And then of course I just made it into a joke. And then it's funny because
Right.
I posted it as a clip too, because it was pretty funny.
I
I just
thought I'd seen that. Yeah.
yeah.
That
Off the
was
top of my head, those are probably the two most embarrassing. I mean, I performed pretty hammered after that too, but it was like on my birthday and people kept buying me shots, and it was more fun than embarrassing.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously when you bomb, sometimes that can be embarrassing,
I bombing isn't
but it's
that
part of the problem or part
that
of the process.
yeah, that's just part of, like being in a room where it's you're doing a fundraiser and the predominant demographic are people 65 and older, and they're not laughing out loud at your stuff, and you're like, that makes sense. They're
Yeah,
smiling, they're nodding, or they go and silently laugh, and you're like,
that's funny.
at least I can
Huh.
see it. Or you can see that they're not enjoying because they're going,
Yeah,
no.
they're very physically letting you know that they hate what's happening.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, all right, that's fine too. I don't have to be for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we should start wrapping up. We got one other topic that we'll touch on quickly because it's kind of a thing that has changed. And that's how, there used to be a time where comedy clubs ran 7 days a week, where you would go, like features could make good money doing comedy because you would go to a club and you would be there all week, you and the
yeah,
headliner. And now, I mean, there are some comedy clubs that work quite a bit. Like the Comedy Fort is open like 6 days a week. Like they're doing
yeah,
shows between the open mic and then the weekend shows and then showcase stuff during the week. They usually have something going on 6 of the 7 days out of the week. And then even sometimes, depending if there's like an opportunity for a special show, they'll do 7 days a
yeah.
week. But a
Well,
lot of
it's like
clubs aren't like that.
yeah, Zany's up here is open. Um, I think every day.
I think you
Um,
can get away with it in bigger markets.
yeah,
In smaller markets, it's a little harder to have shows that many days a week.
yeah, for sure. And it used to be that, even mid-sized markets, like you were saying, they could have them,
Yeah.
they could be open, and for whatever reason, it just during that there's a sorry, Jesse David Fox and I had a great conversation on my other show, about the comedy boom versus the comedy bust, and how he was like, I don't really think I think it just goes up and down, and I think
Hmm.
we see the ups and downs of it, and I'm like, yeah, but there was nothing like that where there was a
Well, I mean, it's true. There was nothing like the comedy boom. I don't think we're at a comedy bust either. I do think comedy is still booming. It's just being consumed differently. With
yes,
social media and then all these streaming platforms, people don't, like back in the day when the comedy was really booming, there wasn't a lot of outlets for to watch stand-up comedy. You would see, you know, comics do sets on like late night television, maybe HBO, there would be some stuff. And then, early days of Comedy Central or whatever, you'd have like Premium Blend, little shows like that. But there wasn't a
yeah,
lot of media like that with stand-up comedy. So you had to go do it live. Now there's even more media where, you can watch stand-up on TikTok, Instagram, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, like every streaming service has stand-up comedy. So there's more ways to access it. So now, because of that, people don't have to go to a live show to experience stand-up comedy, which
Yeah.
in a lot of ways is kind of sad because, I mean, to each their own, however they want to consume comedy, at least they're consuming comedy, but it is sad because it's not the same. Watching stand up on like a streaming platform is not the same experience you'll get if you go to a live show.
Absolutely. It's
Sorry, I'm boring you.
we are recording at the end
I know.
of the day.
I couldn't help it. I'm like on this long rant and you're just over here trying not to yawn.
Just falling over out of my chair. Well, Dan, that what?
All right. Well, what are your
Anyway.
final thoughts on the comedy boom and bust before we get out of here?
Well, I had a very nice salient point to go along with what you were saying. I felt, but then you made fun of me for yawning. So, no, I'm with you. It is, you can consume it in any way you want, but it's just so much better to go see it live. Like you can see it if you've ever been to a live comedy show, and a good one. That's
a good point. A good one.
There's something about the energy in the room, but that especially if it's a good crowd and a good comic, and it's that the comic connects with the crowd, and it's just this circulation of energy and laughs, and everybody's having a good time, and especially if the comic's really cooking and really vibing with the audience, that comic's gonna probably go off script and just have fun, and then be like, oh shoot, I'll come back to my set now, and try to get back in, and it's just a good time because you get to see how, I don't know, the artist works
Mm-hmm.
in real time. Don't get me wrong, I love watching a good comedy special like everybody else. I like to see how they've probably recorded it, 2 or 3 different nights,
Mm-hmm.
and then blended all those together.
Yep.
For to get the best take of each joke, and it's very cool. But that's curated. Sometimes it's fun to just it's just fun to see it live and see how it goes down. But
yeah, absolutely, I totally agree with that. Going live is the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Between Bombs Callbacks. We want to thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow wherever you listen to the podcast. Share it with your colleagues. Do all the things. Join the Facebook group. Become part of the community. All the links are down in the show notes. And just tune in next week for an all new episode of The Art of Bombing. And we'll be back next week.
Do it, punks.
Yeah, punks. Have a great week.
This has been a Tape Deck Media production. Thank you for listening.